They mad that I got hard. Now I'm on the top charts.
What's up, guys? It's Aden here from the Never Broken Podcast, and today we have an episode for you. I sit down with a guy that I look up to, Mike Turkovich. Mike is from Bedford County, Pennsylvania, and transferred to Valley Forge Military Academy and was Charlie Weiss's #1 recruit when Charlie Weiss became the head football coach at Notre Dame. We talk Notre Dame, we talk about what it's like to play in the NFL, we also talk what it's like for Mike to be back in his hometown, raising his family, and how he uses his lessons that were taught at Notre Dame in the NFL and applies that to everyday life. You don't want to miss this episode. If you're a football fan, if you're a Notre Dame fan, whatever, tune in to the Never Broken Podcast. As always, go to my Never Broken Podcast YouTube page, like it, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. My name is Aden Leonard, and this is the Never Broken Podcast. And today I got a I looked up to you, a guy I looked up to, was from our area and went on to play football at Notre Dame. Played some pro football and some practice squads. But Mike Turkovich, we've been trying to do this for a while, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, no problem.
So, every guest that I've interviewed, I talk to them, where were you born? Obviously, so I do with every guest.
Bedford, Pennsylvania. I was born in Johnstown. My family's from Johnstown, originally my dad's side. Mom's side's from Westmoreland County, but grew up here. Moved a few times around town and that, but yeah, I'm from Bedford. Went to school here up until my junior year of high school. Transferred out, went to Valley Forge. My junior, senior year, went through the recruiting process, ended up at Notre Dame, and then I played ball. I was in Dallas, and then New York, New Jersey, and then Chicago for a little bit, and then moved back home, got a job, and just settled down. Tired of life of traveling on the road, moving continuously. So
yeah, we'll get into that. So you grow up, you go to Bedford, and what's going to Bedford Elementary, high school? What's that like?
It's a good experience being from a small town. Honestly, it is. But when I went to Valley Forge, I went to Notre Dame. These kids are from these big schools from the city and stuff like that. And their experiences are so much different. When you're in high school here, it's like, hey, we're going to the field, we're going to party, go up to the trail, go camp, and things like that. Totally different experience. It's a tight-knit community. I have a lot of friends that live around me. Get out in the summer, just walk up the street, hang out with your friends, things like that. It's nice. It's safe. Never felt like I liked it, and that's why I'm back with my kid. And had a family here because just getting in this community, it's it's a tight-knit community, and everybody knows everybody.
And I'm not from Bedford. When I went to Tussey, Bedford is a big town. I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. I lived in Florida. There's nothing like Bedford County, Pennsylvania. It's a unique place. It's a nice place, and I know people shit on it a lot. It has its bad, just like every town, but it's a nice small town. But you go into Bedford, I went to Tussey. Bedford is like 2 times the size of Tussey. Your class at Bedford probably averages about 100 and some. Tussey, my graduating class was like 89.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference. There's a big difference, but the first time I saw you, and my viewers know, like Dave Bailey, he's a friend of the show, and he was basketball coach, and I remember, they were practicing, and he kept talking about, this 6'7" freshman kid at Bedford and whatnot that can play football, probably pro, and Dave, how Bailey talks, he's a man child.
Yeah, I know. He's awesome. I'll tell you what, he always got a bad rap. He was intense. But it's funny because I played for him it was down in Cumberland, I believe.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I like him. He's a good coach. He's intense, but he's in your corner, and I'll tell you what, he'll stay on you, but that's a good thing.
Fight for you.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And it's a shame because there's not many more like him. No. And the basketball program there, and I'll say it, it's in the garbage. Ever since, and they did him wrong. They hired a guy that was an alumni there. Yeah. And then this guy, Randy Mack, and his wife got sick, and God rest her soul, she died. So he took a break from coaching, and they hired a guy now that, just didn't even go out and play on the team his junior or senior year. They don't even go to summer camp.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, too, his style of coaching, I don't know if it would be great. I mean, it's
Nowadays,
good, but I don't think the parents would be standing by it because it's like,
no way he would have left. If he was starting now, there's no way.
Yeah, like I just feel like it's a different culture now, maybe around sports and stuff, where the parents are involved. It's like, no, I want to treat my kid. When it's not, when it's coming from a place of like, I want your kid to get better and pushing him, people take it the wrong way. And so, like, I had a lot of coaches like that, but I don't think you see as many of them today. And it's a shame, because I think that's part of being a coach is, being tough on you, pushing you. That's important. Not trying to convince you, hey, you gotta play, tough, you gotta play hard, practice hard. This is why. No, like he's gonna get that out of you and maybe not, but just my experience. But like they're gonna be in your face. They're gonna be on you. Hey, I know you can do better. You're gonna do better. I'm gonna make you do better.
Make you do better.
Yes, exactly. And then you start to you build that culture. You build those. Not just the skills come from I guess what I'm trying to say is like you build a culture on a program where the coach is not only just a mouthpiece, but he's the example. And so once you see that and you become a part of that culture, you start pushing yourself. Then it's it's something that I don't know how I want to explain this because I've had coaches like this, and then you see it now. Like, with Notre Dame, their culture's changed.
Yes.
This culture builds upon itself, and it's like pushing the stone down the hill. Like it keeps going. He's building momentum. And so, I think it's important, and I think Dave's a great coach. Yeah, the kids definitely need that.
And today it's my son wrestles, and like back when I was growing up, even in elementary, you didn't miss practice, and now it's okay. Like I've seen kids that'll miss 3 or 4 practices, and the coaches will still let them be. I mean, I was afraid to even miss a practice. I was afraid. Like there was no in my house. You're sick. Well, you're still going. But I was raised by my grandparents too. But anyhow, back to you. You're at Bedford. It's your freshman year, and Tussey Mountain's always had a good basketball team, and you guys beat us up here. It was a close game. I think Holloway played.
Holloway, I remember him.
Yeah, and it was a packed, gym, and I remember seeing you, and I remember, Holloway was big, but that was the first time I'd ever seen, because, Holloway was like 6'3", 6'4". That was the first time I'd ever seen somebody taller than him on the back. Like, he was smaller than somebody, and I'm a little kid, but I'm like, well, what is that? And that's only 15, and I'm 9 at the time. I'm thinking, wow. And then I followed you. So you leave. What was the reason behind you leaving Bedford and going to Valley Forge?
So my brother got recruited to play wide receiver at Holy Cross in the Patriot League.
Okay.
And it wasn't really. It was, I think, a result. The reason that happened, the reason he got recruited was his track career at Bedford, which he started running track in his junior year. He played baseball.
His junior year?
Yeah, he loved baseball, played baseball.
Yeah.
Junior year, he decided, I'm going up for track. This is what I want to do. I did the high jump, I think 100, 400, 200 those races. And then he started, I think he had jumper's knee from jumping, because my brother's built a lot different to me. He's 6 foot, 6'1", and he's, he played wide receiver, he's an athlete.
Yeah.
And his senior year, he ran a 400, third in states, I believe. I think he still has a record here at Bedford, actually. And he got recruited to play, wide receiver. And that's how it started the recruiting process, was track. And so my dad was like, you have the size and you're a decent athlete. Like, do you want to try, playing ball at the next level? And if so, like, maybe we send you away to school somewhere. And at that time, like, with my dad in his business, he knew there's people he knew that kind of like sold him on or told him about the idea of maybe going somewhere and get recruited. And so I started looking around, and he's like, we can do a military academy. So there was 2 that we picked out. One was Fort Union down in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
The other one's Valley Forge. And they play each other too. They did, I don't know if they still do, but they did when I went to school there. And I visited Valley Forge, and I was like, okay, this is nice. You're close to like Philadelphia. It's a nice area in Wayne, PA. Wayne, Radnor, Brigmore, those, main line. It's nice. And then I visited Fort Union, and it's in the middle of nowhere. And that's not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like, there's not as much around it. So I was like, okay, well, if Valley Forge is a little bit closer, I was like, I think I'm going to go there. So I made a decision to go there, and then football camp was around the corner at Bedford.
Yeah, was this in the summer or going?
This is in the summer going into my junior year.
So you played your freshman and sophomore year at Bedford?
Yes. I played freshman and sophomore year at Bedford, and so Wes Swain was hired as the head coach when Max Shoemaker stepped down.
Okay, so you played for Shoemaker.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Wes was running the off-season program in the summer and all the workouts, all the the stuff he had to get all the organized activities. And I went through camp and I was like, I don't think I'm going to go away to school now. I think I'm going to stay at Bedford. And I was like, that was my final decision. I'm not going away. I don't want to leave home. You're a kid. You want to be around your friends and stuff like that, all your high school buddies.
Everything that you knew.
Yeah. So I decided to stay here. I went through 2 weeks of football camp at Bedford, and it was the night before, I think, 2 days before we scrimmaged. I think it was Somerset actually. And my mom goes, "We need to talk." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "I think you made the wrong decision staying here. I think that you have a good opportunity, to go away to school here at Valley Forge. They want you to come there, They were giving me financial aid and stuff, so it wasn't as much of a financial burden to my parents, so it's like, that wasn't an issue. And so, after listening to my mom talk, she only talked for me a minute, and I was like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah.
And the next morning, we just left. Because you don't pack your stuff, you don't bring anything. A computer, that's all you bring.
Really?
Yeah, because it's all uniforms, everything. You get processed. You don't have, civvies or civilian clothes. You go through their 6-week plebe system where you can't, you don't have a cell phone. All you have is your computer, which you can only use during study hall. You don't have your iPod or that or any of that crap because there's no music, there's no radio, no TV, no phones. You can't even call your parents when you first get there. You have to write letters. So for the first 6 weeks, I'm writing letters. And I didn't even tell my friends bye because this is the night before I left. It was late at night when I decided I'm leaving. And the next morning, I just left early, 5 or 6 in the morning. Parents driving me. I was like a mess. I was upset. I was like, I said I'd go. And on the way there, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. My parents were like, we're doing this. I know it's hard. You'll get over it. And once I got there and everything got processed, they left. I was homesick and I was worried about what's going on because I just went through 2 weeks of football camp and I gotta go through football camp again.
Yeah.
I feel like crap. But once you get that adjustment period, it's easy because you have no contact with the outside world. Homesickness goes away like that.
Yeah.
And you're not homesick.
Yeah.
First time you get it first, you don't. There's nothing. The whole time wondering man, what my friends are doing. What's everybody doing? Does people know that I left or what's going on? I didn't even tell anybody I was leaving. I just left. And I felt bad about that, but I did what I thought was best for me, and obviously my parents thought it was best for me, so I made the decision and started football camp, went through the season, and things worked out. It's one of those places though you get there and it's such a culture shock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is it like your first night crazy. There from Bedford, PA to Philly, Valley Forge?
Yeah.
What is that like? You're late. What were you thinking when you're laying in bed that first night?
What did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Because it is you sleep until 7 o'clock, get up, go to school when you're Bedford, you get there by 8 o'clock. This is 5 o'clock wake up call or 4:45, whatever it was. Reveille starts playing. Gotta get into formation. You march down to mess hall, eat your breakfast, march back up, do your chores. Everything is so structured, and it's holy heck. And then there's all these people in different walks of life. There's kids that are there because they're in trouble. There's kids that are there that are foreign kids that they want their kids to go to school in America, so they have money, so they can afford to send them. And so you have this melting pot of people, and it was really a culture shock. It's crazy. And there's times where you're laying there, you're regretting, man, I wish I could be back home. It was so much easier.
Yeah.
But it's something that, and Freeman actually said, this is one of his catchphrases: choose hard.
Choose hard, yeah.
And it makes you a better person. And the habits that I built at Valley Forge were great. I wish I would have maintained them more, because then once you get to college, it's you're completely free.
Well, yeah.
So but it was so different. It's crazy how close you get with those people because you go through it with them.
Yeah.
You're living with these people, going through this completely different lifestyle. Yeah, so it was quite the experience.
What was the football team like there?
So the first year I was there, we weren't as good as the second year I was there. So the year before I got there, they were not any good. I don't even know if they had a win. And it's because they had no scholarships. And then the year I went there, they had scholarships, started bringing them back on.
So you could get people there on
they're bringing kids. Yes, they're bringing kids in there that are postgraduates that don't want to use their eligibility, but weren't able to pass the clearinghouse. So let's say West Virginia or Pitt's recruiting them, they're not passing the clearinghouse. They won't be eligible to play. And so they choose a postgraduate year, which is you already graduated high school. You're taking classes at JUCO because there's JUCO there too. There's the academy there. It's the junior college.
Oh, okay.
So they're taking JUCO classes, and they're not losing a year of eligibility because they're not playing at any collegiate level. So when you go to schedule teams, your schedule teams are either doing the same thing or they're not in the league. Like at that time, it was like Wyoming. We traveled to Worcester Academy in Massachusetts. We went to Wyoming Seminary, went to Virginia and played teams. We played Fork Union, played teams out in DC, DeMatha.
Yeah.
So like teams that will schedule you because it is an
So you weren't playing in the PIAA then?
No, correct. I don't know if they're in a league now. Maybe in a private school league or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, we played all over the place. So like we played in Massachusetts. We're staying in a hotel the night before the game, which is like you don't do that in high school.
That's not yeah.
So
especially where we're from.
And you're playing against other teams that have like it's an advantage to have a fifth year senior.
Yeah.
That's a good player that's gonna be able to play at the next level. So like teams that are playing had multiple guys too, like at the next level.
So you had guys that were like 19.
Yeah, so like we had guys that were 19 years old. We were playing against teams like we played against Brooklyn Poly Prep, which both times we played them, I went against Eric Olson, who I ended up playing next to at Notre Dame. He's the corner next to me. So it was like, you play each other in high school, but you're playing against guys that they have other D1 scholarship players in the team.
Okay.
And so like the level of competitions, it's a high level. So this first year I was there, I want to say we had 3 losses. One of them was DeMatha, I know that for sure, because we got absolutely pounded in.
They're
incredible team speed.
Powerhouse.
And then I think my senior year, I think we had 1 loss. And then I want to say the year after I left, they were undefeated. Because you keep increasing scholarship, you get better players. You get more players. But it was weird because when you have a private school like that and you have post-grads coming in, you have, you don't have a core. Like, you'd have, Bedford, Tussey, where there's kids that are playing sophomore, junior, senior together. Yeah. I was the only holdover, the only kid who was on scholarship. There was two or three other kids that were on my junior team, that were on my senior year team. It's like a new team every year.
Wow.
So it's a weird experience, because you're not building that, it's hard to build a team, especially offensive line. The longer you play together, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
Because you're getting guys' footwork, where their bodies at, things like that. How you play together, it's important. But, we definitely improved. And I don't know if they do the scholarships now. I don't know if they're in the league now. I don't know how it works on the fall.
I heard they don't even have football there anymore.
They might not. If they don't, that wouldn't surprise me. The school's changed a lot. My senior year was the last year where it was all male. They have male and female there.
Okay,
so
yeah.
It was an all-boys school. And
man, what's that like? You're going to an all-dude school. What's that? Especially I'm not trying to be dirty or anything.
No. Well, there's also all-girls schools around campus and stuff. And so it's funny because I know guys from my days at Notre Dame that went to all boys schools.
Yeah.
And we had to wear a uniform and we had our hair buzzed and stuff. Yeah. But they're like, it's great. You just get up and go to school. You don't wear what girls think. What you look like, your hair can be a mess. Yeah. Shit your pants in class. No one cares. It's a bunch of dudes. So it was different, but I enjoyed it. I liked it.
So you're playing at Valley Forge.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this as long as I live. I remember Charlie Weiss is hired at Notre Dame. I grew up a diehard Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We live in Penn State territory, and I like to be different. My grandma loved Notre Dame. And I remember seeing an article, Turkovich, Bedford's Turkovich is now at Valley Forge, could possibly be Charlie Weiss's #1 recruit.
Yeah.
And I remember my grand pointing that out to me. I got home from school.
Yeah.
Because back then, there was the internet, but it was in a newspaper still. My grand says, look, remember, I said,
it's not quite like it is today, where it's they have social media accounts following these
guys
every day. It's crazy.
When you start getting recruited, how do you get to Notre Dame and meet Charlie Weiss?
So I went to a Rising Juniors camp at West Virginia.
Okay. With Rich Rock when he was head coach.
Yes. And Rich Rickett was the offensive line coach.
Okay.
He was actually on LSU staff with Nick Saban before he went to West Virginia.
Okay.
And I bring that up because that's part of the story.
Yeah.
So I go to this camp, I go through all the workouts and stuff, and my coach at Valley Forge, because we had so many players in Division I, he had a lot of contacts in that area with colleges and stuff. So like, hey, we have this kid, like, you want to take a look at him, so you get invited to these camps. So I go down to West Virginia. They offer me a scholarship. It's my first D1 offer, and I was like ecstatic. I was like, holy crap, like I can actually do this. I'm going to go and play at the next level. And I came home, because it's during the summer. I came home and I was playing basketball at my cousin's house. And this is when we first had like cell phones, like one of those block phones,
the brick,
right?
yeah.
A brick. And I see this number calling me, and it's Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I better answer this, right? Like, you know, not like spam calls like used to. I answer, I was like, hello. He's like, hi, this is Mike Turkovich. Like, yeah. He's like, it's Jimbo Fisher down in Louisiana State. I'm like, oh, like, man, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. You know, I'm talking to him on the phone. He's like, we want to get you down here for this camp. We want to take a look at you. We think you got the ability to play ball at this level. We want to, see you go through some work and some drills and things like that. How's that sound? It's like, sounds great. He's like, we won't be able to pay for you to come down here. You're going to pay your own way, because like Curry was a lot different then. I was like, I want 100 grand to come see the school. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, we'll be down. We're coming. I'll talk to my parents. Just whatever the information is. They gave me the information, took it down. I get home like that. You won't believe who just called me. And he's like, who? And I was like, Jimbo Fisher, LSU. They just want to type.
They just want a national title.
I was like,
Jimbo was the offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, he's the offensive coordinator, and this is West, same as West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I guess Jimbo's from that area.
Yeah.
And, Turkins out west. So obviously they heard from the West Virginia when I went to that camp. Like, there's a kid there that might, these guys talk and they have sources, And so I'm like, yeah, LSU just called me. I want to come down to a camp. He's like, oh, let's book the flight. Let's go down there. So, we go down for this camp, and the first thing I saw when they show you around, because when you're invited to these places, it's not like going to a camp or a youth camp where you're going through. They'll show you around a university. They get you on a golf cart, drive around, take you here and there, just show you stuff, because they want to see, they want you to see what the university's like even before you do the drills, and then afterwards once they offer you, then they start giving you the real shove, like, hey, this is how things work here. But I remember driving by the weight room and watching those players working out in there. And I'm like, these are a different breed of people. Yeah. Like, these guys, these wide receivers are just like, in linebacker, they're big. Yeah. And you can tell they're just freakishly athletic. It was crazy. So, and that's why Dad's like, man, these guys, they got some players, they got some athletes down here. I was like, yeah, it was eye-opening.
Well, yeah.
Like, it really was. And so we started doing, like, we were going to 40 time and do all this stuff. We were going to do, like, all these drills and that.
If you don't mind, what was your size then, if you don't mind me asking?
My junior year, when I went to the plebe system, because you can't have soda, you can't have you have to square your meals too, which is a whole different story. You sit on the edge of your table, you sit on the edge of your chair, at attention, go like this, get your fork, take a bite, out, down, and then once you get back to attention, you start chewing again. And it's like you need attention. It's like, it's just something they do. I don't know, it's just what do you want to call it? Like I'm just trying, it's part of the whole thing of the plebe system. Yeah. It's like trying to, I don't want to say break you, but it's like discipline, mental toughness. Yeah, like they were trying to essentially break you, I guess, in some way, way to describe it. So I lost back down to 215, and I was playing 215.
How tall?
6'7", 215. So I was like a string bean.
Yeah.
And I was playing tight end, and then like by the end of the year there, I was like 265. And then my senior year, I was like 285, and then I got to college, and I was like,
were you lifting heavy and bulking?
Yeah, I started to really lift, and it's funny because I remember one of the coaches from NC State come to meet me. It was right after I took my SAT test. I'm sitting in the building where I took my SATs, and I'm just waiting for this guy to show up. He said he was coming. It was Mike Berry from NC State, is the other line coach. He went to the Lions and coached the line there for a while afterwards, but he goes, man, it looks like you've been hitting the weight room. Looks like you're wearing a catcher's vest on there. Because I never really lifted hard, worked out hard until I got there. I did some here at Bedford, but today, now they have a summer program and all this lifting stuff, and the kids, it's important. Yeah, I wasn't doing that as much. I was playing baseball, playing basketball, football in the summer. I wasn't lifting and stuff. So I started taking diet seriously, even though it's hard to do whenever you're at Valley Forge. The food is kind of crappy, but not talk bad on it, but anybody will tell you that. So I was I think when I was 265, 280 at LSU when I was going through this stuff, and they were recruiting me for a lineman, especially at that time. Even if I was playing tight end, that's when Gallery came out of Iowa. It was a converted tight end tackle, and it was big drop pick. hey, like we'll take these guys, a little more athletic, more rangy, and we'll put some weight on them and play tackle. So it was like a big thing at that time.
Yeah, because of the reach. And
so like we're gonna have you play, you're gonna play offensive line. It's like, okay, sounds good, like go through these drills and stuff. And I remember it was funny because there's like a lot of kids that are a 5-star, 4-star recruit, dad stretching them out, getting their hamstrings, getting them loose, rubbing them down. I turned to my dad, he's like, I'm not doing that. I ain't fucking doing that. Because I remember myself stretching out, I remember a good time. I remember what it was. I remember a good time.
I don't know your dad. That's funny. I think I'd say the same thing if I
He's
did.
like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, did all the drills and stuff like that, and right after the camp, like you don't do the whole session, you only do 30 minutes of stuff because they can tell pretty quick whether you're a two-player or not.
Yeah.
So and I remember Andrew Whitworth actually was helped the O-line coach, Stacy Searles, who's I think he's at Georgia now. He was the O-line coach, and it was Whitworth was playing at LSU at the time.
Played at LSU.
Yeah, he was helping go through the drills.
Won a national title at LSU, and he played for the Rams and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl. And I remember though, the kid in front of me in line was like a 5-star recruit, never shown this like drill, like how you want to come off the ball, your hands, where you want them at and stuff. And you're supposed to. You have helmets on. And we didn't have shoulder pads this practice, but you only need them as an O-line. But I remember Whitworth was holding the bag, and this kid comes off the ball, and I mean, he was like, amping himself up because he wants to prove himself. He wants to get a scholarship. And Whitworth just hits him with, I think it was right on his ass. Whitworth just hits him with this guy's like this, boom, and the kid goes right down his ass, and I was like next in line. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because he's a big ass dude,
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I did good. I did the drills did good, and then they after two two drills, they're like, okay, Turk, you're good. Get in the golf cart, go back to the facility, get cleaned up and stuff. And then as I'm getting cleaned up, getting my stuff packed, I'm like, hey, Coach Saban wants to see in his office. And so my dad, came up there with me, and he's like, we want to offer you a scholarship. Just talking about how he's from up north and that he understands the different, way things are. Like,
because we're not that far from where Saban grew up.
He's like, I understand that you're from the north. He's like, but you know what? Like, there's something to be said about the grit guys have coming from up north, and what they could be a good addition to the program. And at that time, once they offered me, because they just won a title, and Saban, he's not the Saban he is today, where it's like, all right, fine, title, but it was like, once that school offers you, everybody's going to, get a hold of you. So all these schools started contacting me. The one school that didn't was Penn State.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And I'm in their backyard, so whatever, But, so I go through my I took my officials to, Boston College, Wisconsin. I took one to Notre Dame. I took one to LSU.
Was Weiss at Notre Dame when you went there?
No. He didn't take the job yet. So it's funny.
He was still with the Patriots.
Yeah, after I did all my official business, like, do you want to take one more? And I was like, no, I think I'm good. I was going to go to NC State and look there, but I was like, no, I think I'm good. I'm going to make my decision. I was probably going to go to Wisconsin. Now, I wanted to go to LSU. My visit was amazing. It was awesome. It was a great time. It wasn't just that, hanging out, just seeing how football is down there it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I wanted to take my mom, I don't want you going down south to the, I want you going to a good school. Boston College would be fine. You go there, it's a good school. I want you to get a good education. But
she thinks she knew if you went to LSU what it would be.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I want you to get a good education. But it was funny because when I was out on my official visit, and I was with my dad, I flew down from Philadelphia, from Valley Forge, and he came from Bedford. We met up down there, and we're sitting in Saban's office. My dad's like, we love you as a coach, as a person, you've been a straight shooter, which a lot of these guys will just blow smoke up their ass. Oh, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. But, they just want to get you to sign that letter of intent, and then once you do, it's, which is right. I get it. It's time to go to work now, but, guys will tell you anything. And my dad's like, look, you understand we're from Pennsylvania. He goes to school down here. That degree's not worth anything back home. We want to make sure, you're going to be here if he's coming here to play. And he hinted that he's going to Miami.
Seriously.
So that was another decision.
He hinted.
He hinted that. He didn't say, I'm going to Miami. He's gave, non-verbal, I'm not going to be here next year, Okay, so that I took into consideration, too, because you know they were going to hire. So when I'm about to choose Wisconsin and make it public, that's where I'm going to go to school, because the O-line culture up there, Joe Thomas was up there at the time, good players. That's why I was looking at, BC and Wisconsin heavily, because Gosser Chairless and, what's the other guy who played at Dallas, was up there at Boston College. Colombo, I think, played at NC too.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good O-line culture. They have good players up there. And then Wisconsin was good O-line culture. It's Big Ten. Those are the schools I was interested in. When I looked at Penn State, yes, definitely, but they weren't interested. So whatever, screw them. I'm not worried about it. Like, chances are it's so close, I probably would have even gone there. I went to summer camps in there, like
that has to be a little salty.
Yeah, I was a little salty about it, and yeah, definitely. I mean, it's you live, like I said, we live like an hour and 10 minutes away.
Right. Yeah,
That's
we're in our backyard.
Yes, exactly. So my coach calls me in, Jim Berner. He's the AD at Valley Forge. He's like, "Is there anywhere else you want to look at going to school?" And I was like, Notre Dame, probably, because my grandfather's a huge Notre Dame fan. My brother was a big fan. He remembers, 88 Notre Dame High. So I was too young. So,
yeah, me too.
But I actually went up to a game in 7th grade. Shane Fox, whose grandfather went to Valley Forge, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he always talks to me about that. But we went to Shane's dad, George, and Shane, they took me out when I was in junior high out to, it was like 7th grade, out to Notre Dame to watch him play Pitt.
Yeah.
It was cool, I remember that. So I was like, you know what? I'll take a look at Notre Dame and see what it's about, see what they have to say. So that's when Willingham was there. Okay. So they called up, Coach Berner called out there, and they ended up sending the running backs coach. He flew in to Valley Forge, met with me. We watched some tape and that, and he sent me an offer. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take a visit. And, I think hear what he has to say about the university and things. And like, none of my family was, big into Notre Dame. I was like, this is probably where I'm going to go. On his flight back from Valley Forge, that staff gets shit canned.
On his flight back.
On his flight back.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I don't know who they're going to hire. Well, it turns out they hired Charlie Weiss. And Weiss hired Rob Iannello, who was a recruiting coordinator at Wisconsin.
Okay. Who offered you at Wisconsin?
Yeah, who offered was recruiting at Wisconsin. So I was like, okay, well, that's probably a good thing. So Weiss called me when I was back home. I think it was on winter break from Valley Forge. And I was in the basement of my parents' house. Because I remember this, I was playing video games and I saw this call come from South Bend, and I was like, hey, shit, I wonder who this is. So it was Rob Iannello, and then he's like, I'm going to, Coach Weiss wants to talk to you, and he's like, we're going to honor your scholarship because you're off before, and Rob told me you were a good player, and, they were recruiting you Wisconsin, so we'll offer you a scholarship. So I was like, okay, well, I want to come out for a visit. And they scheduled it to be like on their awards ceremony weekend, which there's nothing going on campus, none of the students are there. Okay. But I went out on my visit and hung out with players. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's funny because I still remember that the guy I ended up playing with, Pat Kuntz, who's now the D-line coach at Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah, he was on the visit there with me. And then we went to visit together, hit it off, had a great time. We ended up rooming together my freshman year and then lived together my junior and senior year. So, became good friends with it. I remember after my visit was like, there was two meatheads, going at it, trying to be a meatheading it up on our visit. But yeah, I enjoyed it. The next morning, I sat down with Coach Cutcliffe, who didn't end up staying there, but he came from Ole Miss. He coached Peyton Manning and Eli. He was going to be the offensive coordinator, but he had a heart issue or something, so he ended up stepping down, resigning. They brought a new offensive coordinator in. But I sat there with Coach Weiss and Coach Cutcliffe at the morning breakfast, and I said, I'm going to commit to Notre Dame. And I was the first commit for Charlie Weiss.
Yes, and that I got to tell you, man, to come where we come from to do that is just, I don't know if that'll ever be done again. I honestly don't know if that will ever be done again. And I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, and we're going to get into some stuff there. But to do that, I just remember seeing that in the paper and thinking, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy experience. The funny thing was, it's like a couple weeks after I committed, there was an award ceremony. I think it was for the, I got some award for the Philadelphia area, athlete of the year, student athlete, something like that. I forget what it was for. It was Villanova University, and they called me up and they were like, University of Notre Dame, commit. And they just started booing me, and I was like, oh, state country. There you go, Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Stay true to your name.
Fans
They started booing me. Yeah. I'm a 17-year-old kid. You're booing the shit out of me. I just want to get my award and get off the stage. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So, what's it like arriving at Notre Dame at 18 years old? You come home for the summer. Did you come back to Bedford for the summer?
No, so I was supposed to play in the Big 33 game.
Yeah, okay.
So I went to the ceremony. It was like a ceremony, like a luncheon thing.
Yeah.
And I went and I was in my full, clothes. I'm wearing my full dress, like my wool outfit, look, it's like similar to West Point, but it doesn't look like that. It's still, it's more simplified. But I go to this thing, and it's funny because there's players from PA that were like at that banquet too, to like go over the schedule and go over who's on the team and all this stuff and all the coaches and everybody. And there's guys that are going to Notre Dame, and it's funny because like, I remember when I get to Notre Dame, they're like, you look so serious, like you're ready to kill somebody. You're dressed like your outfit, you look like an idiot, like you're a nerd. I'm like, I had to wear that. Like, I didn't have a choice. I wasn't allowed to wear a suit. I had to wear full dress. But I go to this thing, and so the plan was, once I graduate from Valley Forge, I'm home for maybe a week. And you start going to summer school, and then because there's 2 sessions of summer school, an early session, which is like like 2 or 3 weeks. And those classes are like rough. They're like 7 hours, 8 hours. Okay. And then you have a second session, but you're there lifting and you're practicing, watching film and things like that. So I was like, I'm already away from home. I'll just go early. So I went early, and sorry, my phone was going off. But as soon as I get there, Coach Weiss is like, all the guys from Ohio and PA were out to the Big 33. You guys aren't allowed to do it. It's like, well, I really wanted to do that. That's a cool game to be in.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're in college now. You're enrolled here. It's full speed ahead with Notre Dame. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I was like, not that I didn't care a whole lot. Today I'm like, oh man, I wish we'd like to play. But I was like, okay, well now, we're getting down to business here. Like, he doesn't want anybody risking injury, things like that. You want to be here working out, getting in shape, getting ready. And I understand how important that is because, like, when you leave high school, like, especially as an offensive lineman or D lineman, like, you're still like a kid. Like, you're playing against grown men, and you need to get yourself in the weight room and get yourself ready to go quick because those guys are strong and they're big. Like, it's not like high school, the guy went against Eric Olson, like I said, but like, you're equal, like size, weight, things like that. So it's a good matchup. Or you get against a kid who's like a lot smaller and you just beat on him.
Yeah, beat on him.
And it didn't happen in college. These guys are as big as you and they're faster. They're as fast. They're older than you and more mature. So I get it. I understood what he was trying to say. Like, hey, it's time to move on. You're in college now. This is, you're here. We're here to win. We're not worried about stuff like, high school all-star games. So I think a lot of these guys play their high school all-stars. The All-Americans going on now, like, before they go to school. Yeah, so, my experience when I got to Notre Dame is funny. I always tell people this. So, you get to the dorms for your summer sessions, and I remember go through the first week of class and football, and everything's pretty structured, because you're a freshman. They don't want you to just be an idiot. But it was like Friday night. Evan Sharpley, who was a quarterback there, came in my class. He comes back at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. I was like, wow, where were you at? He's like, I went to the movies. I was like, how'd you get out? Because you can't do that at Valley Forge. I was like, you can just leave whenever you want.
Yeah. What? And he's like,
I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm brainwashed.
Yeah.
He just like looked at me, what are you talking about?
How'd you get out?
It's funny. Girls in the dorms and stuff like didn't have that. It's an all boys school, and we call them barracks, not dorms, but like we don't have girls in there. It was just like it's just totally different. That like instant freedom. Like, if you're not careful, that can just consume you.
Did you go buck wild for a little bit?
No, I didn't actually. Not like that, but like after games on like Saturdays, I didn't really I went out some like a decent amount, but not like a lot. Like I was usually tired and beat to hell.
So you come in your freshman year.
Yeah.
You come into camp. You win a starting job in camp your freshman year, right?
No, I played my freshman and sophomore year. I actually played more my freshman year and my sophomore year because I had an injury my sophomore year. I had a neck injury in camp.
Okay.
It was weird, like.
But you started your junior and senior year.
Yeah, I started my junior and senior year. So they moved me so Ryan Harris, who now calls the Raiders, he played for the Broncos, won a title there.
Yeah. He
was a left tackle, had me on the depth chart. He was good.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was great learning from him. It really was. He was a great player, great dude. Great teammate, great person. But yeah, my freshman year I was second on the depth chart behind Ryan Harris, left tackle. And then he was there my sophomore year too, so he was there for 2 years. I rotated in along the line in just different packages too. We had garbage time too, but like different packages. Instead of bringing an extra tight end, bring an extra lineman and things like that. And I remember my freshman year though, we played Pitt and we got up big on them early, so I came out in the second half, played, and it wasn't like the speed of the game is definitely a lot more to get used to because you can't emulate that in practice.
No.
So that was an experience. But the one time I'll say where I was like, holy shit, this is a different level of football.
What's that holy shit mode? Yeah.
USC.
Okay.
I got a USC game, and I went to
Was that the year that Bush, where it's almost
the Bush push year, yes.
You were, wow.
So, but I went out as an extra offensive lineman, and I was going to block, he played for the Texans. He was Defensive Player of the Year. Brian Cushing.
Okay.
Which I remember him from high school. He wasn't that big until he got to USC. That was quick. He got big. But I went to block him on the backside, and he just juiced me out of my feet, my shoes, and I was like, this team plays a different speed.
And that's primetime game days.
Yeah, that was
What's
crazy.
that atmosphere like
It's crazy. So, like, all the nerves building up to it. Once you're out of the tunnel, you're usually pretty good. Sometimes the lingering nerves until the first snap, then you start to settle in. That's like when I was watching championship game. I was like, that drive was great, but I was like, wait till everybody settles in. That's how the game plays out.
In a championship game,
you've
got that release of adrenaline.
But I also think like we weren't tight for the USC game. I think that was important. Like, because no one was expecting it. I mean, they were on a massive tear. I don't know how many games they won in a row. And those teams had some swag, man. They were good. They had some players and they had some swag about them. Like
Reggie Bush.
That team knew they were going to beat.
Leonard was the quarterback, right?
Yeah, Leonard, and then Sanchez, the 1 year. Yeah,
was a backup.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
And you guys were this close.
That's one team that I'll say, like we played out at USC one time. We were fighting in the tunnels and stuff. That team, not only were they loaded with talent, but like they knew they were gonna beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I mean, those teams were freaking good. Like I always tell my son, I was like, how good is USC? I was like, dude, they were good.
And that's crazy. So nothing good. Like that now.
No, like I was like, that's like 2019 LSU, maybe. That's like because that team was stacked. I mean, offensively, the weapons.
They won a national title that year, right? Or is that the year they lost to Texas?
They lost to Texas, yeah. That was a big surprise.
But if you guys would have beat USC, because you were undefeated.
You probably would have played for the national
title. You probably would have played for the national championship.
We would have played the Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State. Santonio Holmes was there. Laurinaitis. I don't even know if Freeman was still there.
Was Freeman on the team?
He might have been on that team. I can't remember. I remember Hawk, Schlegel, and Laurinaitis, I believe. So he might have already been gone that year. It was 2005, and I don't know if he played until... I can't remember now. I should look that up because
he played on a runner-up team, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Because I've wanted to ask you these questions. Like I've been out to Notre Dame. So last year, 2 years ago was the first time I was ever out there in person. And they do the music and they start playing that Irish song. What is coming out of that tunnel at Notre Dame like? I mean, Notre Dame is a special place. I've been to a lot of college football. I've been to Penn State. I watched you guys play at the Big House. I've been to Ohio State. I've been to some games in the SEC. I've been to Tennessee. I've seen Ole Miss. But Notre Dame is a special place.
Yeah, you walk. So when I was there, the locker room was still like the old style.
Like Rudy movie.
Yeah, now it's like all like high tech and fancy and cool looking. Like, but you just walk down that. You walk down those stairs. You tap the sign. So there's the
sign, right?
The ND, the Irish, and the ND. So every tap's different. I would go ND, Irish. It's like a three little sign to the right.
Yeah.
And then you get to play a champion today, hit that, slide it. So you have like your pregame ritual. You're walking on the tunnel, which is really cool because you're like, this is the mecca of college football.
Quiet? Were you a quiet? See, I was, I played high school. Nothing to the magnitude that you did. I got hyped up back when I played. Were you a quiet player?
Yeah. I didn't talk a lot. I never, even if I was being
I was vocal.
I think I only talked shit a few times.
Yeah.
And it was probably a good thing I didn't talk a lot of shit because, oh my gosh, my brother played at Boston College as a safety. He ended up playing in the NFL for a while. But my brother went to Holy Cross with his older brother. And I remember him like chirping me at safety against BC. The whole game was chirping me. And like the one play he came down, I hit him. And he just started talking smack and I responded. I don't remember what I said, but I remember after I said it, I was like, man, that's terrible. Like, don't do that. You're a terrible shit talker. But I would say things like, I mean, you beat a guy on a player that, man, you suck at football, dude. Like, you suck. You should just play something else. Just stuff like that. Not like, nothing like, I wasn't the Reggie Miller shit talking. Like, I talk shit every now and then.
Yeah.
But I'd only give it if someone was giving it to me, too.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't going out looking to shit talk with people. And it's funny because not a lot of, I mean, guys do, but not everybody. Like, some guys are quiet players. Like, you play against, like, Jason Pierre-Paul when he's kid.
Yeah.
I don't remember talking shit. Now, he could have because he was really fucking good.
Yeah.
He could have talked a lot of shit, but I don't think, he was quiet when he got to the NFL.
But I just, that hype, that energy. That
it was great.
Though.
But so, like, I was quiet coming out of tunnel that. Not like yelling. I would just be like, I'm ready to kill somebody. And that the most I ever felt like that, though, was my freshman year, first game ever coming out against Pitt. I'm stretching out in the field. And we went through camp, and Weiss's first camp. And I'm telling you, these guys tried to set a tone to make us mean as shit because we beat the piss out of each other in camp. Like, that was the toughest I've seen that team, was after that first camp. I mean, we beat the piss out of each other. And I remember stretching on the field, and I was like, if I get in there, I'm going to fucking kill somebody. I was just like, that's all I wanted to do is just go hit somebody. Hit somebody other than my own teammates.
Yeah.
I remember that, though. I was like, man, like, if I could get myself in that frame of mind, like I was for every game, like I was in that game, man, I don't know, because I was hungry. I was chomping to death. I was like, I'm going to dominate this guy. Whoever I go against, I'm going to dominate him. But, no, like that, it's great with, like, that feeling getting ready to run out of the tunnel. Like I said, it's like you're Temecula college football. You're wearing the gold helmets. Like, you're not the visitor. It's crazy. It really is, because whether Notre Dame, whether they say on TV, oh, they're relevant, whatever, whether they're like, oh, I haven't won since '88, whatever. It is the mecca of college football. The traditions they have there, just the coaches, the players, whatever, the traditions that are there and what they stand for as a program is just, it is the mecca. And that's not even coming, like, if I would have went to somewhere else to school, I'd still say the same thing after seeing what I've seen there. Like, I don't know, it's just different. It's so different. Like,
no, I mean, I took Bill Higgins out there this year.
Yeah.
And I had already been there. And he was like a kid in a candy store. His kid, like you got there, his son Billy, we beat the shit out of Florida State. We were doing push-ups. They do the push-ups there. And but the players walk, they do the trumpets.
The trumpets in the main building, the band upstairs. They do the glee, or they play like the woodwinds play at what's the student center which is by the Basilica.
Yeah. I saw Yanishak out there this year, which but I will say this: like, we went into the Notre Dame bookstore.
Yeah.
Wow, just I mean, it was.
It's
and I didn't think to myself, you got to experience this.
Yeah.
Did your parents come out a lot?
Yeah, they came out a lot. They came out. They went to as many games. Like, my dad, he would travel too. He went to like the game against Washington, Seattle. They came out to LA. We played at UCLA, Stanford. They traveled a lot. They came to a lot of the games.
Yeah. And that's not an easy. It's not cheap to do that.
No, it's not. It's not at all. And
did they get tickets though? Like,
you get 4 tickets, and you can put it.
Any player does on the team.
Every player gets 4 tickets. Every player gets 4 tickets. But underclassmen and trade with upperclassmen, and depending on where you're from, you trade tickets.
Like, if you're a West Coast guy.
Yes, I think I had 18 tickets for we played at Penn State.
Yeah.
Because I was trading. I was like, you can have my tickets for the UCLA. I'll get 2 of them. I'll take your 4 because they're from LA and I'm from PA. It's like, guys will trade tickets.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I never traded all my tickets away. The one thing I regret though is I traded tickets for the USC Bush game. I traded 2 of them for, I forget what game it was. And I was like, man, because I know my grandfather and my uncle came out. I know my dad wanted to come out, and I was like, I traded tickets away for another game, not knowing that game was going to be like that kind of game.
Yeah.
Running on the field thinking you won it, like, you guys are off. Oh, what? One more play. Cool. Yeah, it was crazy. But so it was my sophomore year against Penn State. I think I had 18 tickets. I had a whole gang at the Happy Valley there. Or it was my junior year. Sorry, my junior year.
That's why I came to see you play.
Yeah.
That's a special. My best friend. It was one of the last weekends, and he was alive. He got killed in a car wreck 2 weeks later. But we came to see. He was a Penn State fan. You were Notre Dame. They had a whiteout at Penn State.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a blue Notre Dame, and I mean, people were booing me, but I just remember what a special place that was. I was unfortunate. I wasn't able to go to Notre Dame. But if I could have, I would have. But it's a special place there, man.
It is.
And I've looked up to you for that forever.
The people there are amazing. Like, not just around, like, the actual students there are amazing. Like, everybody involved. Teachers I've had, I had great teachers out there. that like, you know, truly care about you. Like they're not just there teaching a class, they truly care about you and about finding you, you know, if this is the career you want, finding you a job.
Well, what was your degree that you?
So I did business administration.
Okay.
With it was entrepreneurship. I was going to go into accounting, but I thought it'd be too difficult with like the workload with what I was trying to do playing football.
Yeah.
I also have a minor in theology, so took enough credits to get a minor in theology as well.
Okay.
Because I planned, I was like, maybe I'll go to law school after I'm done with playing ball. Like I didn't know what my plans were, you know. But coming out of college, I mean, I had like job offers with some of the big 4 accounting firms.
So what happened? Was you graduated Notre Dame? You declared for the draft, right? What's that like? I mean,
so like during my senior year, you have like agents contacting you. They're not giving you anything, but they're contacting you, like trying to convince you to sign with them. That'll present you. So I had a couple of different agents I looked at, and I signed with one who was also representing a friend of mine from Notre Dame who already graduated. I was like, okay, I'll go with you, you know. And so at that time, it was like, you know, you can either go train at Notre Dame with their strength staff. You can go somewhere else,
right?
Yeah, anywhere. They'll figure it out. So I ended up having to stay at Notre Dame. Not getting into that, but I you know.
Do you not recommend that if you're for their guys?
I mean, just so you can focus on what you're trying to do. Like, also, like, I had an injury before I did all my testing and that. I tore my quad, and I was like walking on the treadmill, cooling down, and I just felt it pop, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I think it was 2 weeks before I did all my testing and that. So like, I wrapped it real tight, tried to run like terribly. It was. I remember this after in my 40s. He's like, it's not a bad time. He's like, why you run like that? It was a scout for the Steelers. And I was like, I tore my quad. And he's like, why the hell are you doing this? He's like, this did nothing but hurt your stock. Like, it's like, yeah, I didn't think about it that way, I guess, you know. Maybe I should have, like, looked into it a little more, like, what's the benefits, you know. So, yeah, you do, like, after your senior year, you do your exit interviews with the coach. So I met Coach Weiss in his office, and he's like, yeah, anywhere from a 3rd to a 5th round pick, somewhere around that area, probably a 5th, you know, something. Depending on how things shape up. Did my senior day, terrible numbers. Like I said, I was injured and that was stupid, but so I didn't think I was gonna get drafted. And so I went undrafted free agent, and then, you know, your agent's calling you and teams are calling you, asking you like, hey, are you interested in signing with us? Things. And decided to go to Dallas because they had the best offer. And yeah. So
did you get to meet Jerry Jones?
Yeah. My fault. He's an owner. Like, I know he gets bad rap in the press, but honestly, like,
I like the dude.
He cares about.
He cares.
The team. Yeah, he does.
And I like that. He wants to win.
Yes,
he wants to win. You can feel it.
Yep.
And as a boss, if I was a coach there, that's my boss. Listen, you're making, and I tell this to people. You know, if you're the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, you're making a lot of money. We're not talking multi-millions.
Yes.
Listen, the more you make in life, the higher the expectations are.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. If you're going to pay me $10 million a year, you own a football team, and okay, you expect me to win. That's my job. Yep. So when I'm not doing my job, you as the boss get on me.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Business. Yeah,
if I do a change and I don't give you the results, you fire me. It's that simple.
No, it is. It's business. I mean, he wants to win games, and if you're not winning games, you ain't gonna be there very long.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a competitive business, but that was an experience. That was really cool, actually. Like, I remember when I got to Dallas, like I was stronger at run blocking than pass blocking, and I remember the first OTAs, DeMarcus Ware came up to me and was like,
"No kidding,
rookie." He's like, you're staying after, and we're gonna work on some stuff because he wants to work on his own moves and stuff, you know. And he needs someone who's gonna do it. And the guy's a tenured vet to be like, screw yourself, I'm not staying after. Says like, you don't have a choice. You're staying after working with me. And after like a couple months of just drilling with him, like that became one of my strengths. Actually, it was surprising because you know I said work on your weaknesses to become your strengths. So that was something like. And it was eye-opening to see how, because he would talk to like why he's picking this move, why he's doing this, why he's setting this up. To see someone who like, one is a student of the game, but and a technician and just a freakish athlete, of how he's seeing the game and processing it, can change your perspective. Like, how am I approaching the game? There's a reason why these guys are like, you know, all pros or, you know, Hall of Famers, because like everything they do, like, they're just looking at edges everywhere and the way and so, you know, I had good coaching in college. I had good coaching in high school even. Like, I had good coaching. But to see a guy at that level, this is how I process the game while I'm playing it. This is what I do. This is my process off the field, on the field, you know, all it. It was crazy to see, and it's eye-opening. It's like, man, I wish I would have known that.
Back then.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, but that's why he was as good like he was. It wasn't just, there's a lot of freakish athletes out there. There's a lot of guys that are tough. There's a lot of good players. But these guys take it to another level because they are, like, just the way they approach the game.
The technique.
Everything.
The edges. I was talking to a girl that played basketball at UConn.
Yeah.
She works for Eversource, a utility. She's an inspector now. But she actually played for Gino Ariana.
Okay.
And she works for a client of ours. And I was talking to her the one day because I'm a sport. And I said, tell me the difference. I said, because playing at UConn, is compared to other, and she was like, it's to the WNBA. And she said, at UConn probably could beat some WNBA teams, but it was just how hard technique.
Yes.
She said, Coach Ariana, when we got there, said, you know how to shoot, you know how to rebound, but do you know how to shoot in this position, or why are you taking this shot this way when you can do it this way? Things of that nature. Studying film to know, hey, they could watch film and she's like, I could tell you, she said, I moved from playing in the perimeter into the post, that I could tell you, my opponent, because I watched so much film, when they were catching the ball, by the way their feet were set, what they were going to do.
Yep. He'd explain to me, like, look, I'm setting up this, I'm pressing, I'm putting pressure on this edge, in this angle, because it's going to force his inside leg to straighten out. Once the inside leg straightens out on a pass break, he's got to hit the inside because you cannot readjust.
Can't read that quick.
So he's setting things up like that. Spent his hand, all the hand fighting, and I really worked on that when I was in New York. We had
was there a lot of hand fighting?
A lot of hand placement, hand fighting, getting hands on and off, like adjusting, slapping away because they're trying to get your hands away. You're trying to get their hands off, so you get your hands on them in a better position. So we had, like, when I was in New York, we would have 3 sessions a week with Enzo Gracie. Mixed martial, just doing hand fighting and things like that, showing us different hand fighting techniques in his work.
Sure.
Because it's so important. Like, it's crazy. Like, how those things cross over was crazy to me. Like, I didn't realize that in college. Like, I didn't realize when I was in New York or in Dallas. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is really helpful, And it's almost like with my son now, I'm like, look, I want you to play all these sports and understand how this and this sport affects this sport.
Basketball helps so much with
your
football.
Footwork, your athleticism, your
wrestling,
all that stuff. Like, it's good to play multiple sports at a young age, and I see that. You hear people talk about it, I see that now too. Like I said, you learn how different sports, different disciplines cross over, and how they're helpful. That was not like technique, like hand placement. I remember watching film when I was in New York. One, Alan Faneca was an absolute freak.
Pardon me.
That guy was a freak. He was dominate guys. Like, he was so good watching him on film. And he left. He was there, but then he ended up retiring before camp started. But watching Nick Mangold.
He went to the Jets for a little bit.
Yeah, he was in the Jets for a little bit. Yeah, and then I remember we before camp started, he announced he was retiring, and so on Hard Knocks he went out and had a drink before camp started. I was like, oh man, But he was, and watching his work ethic, because you get broken up into groups in the off season in New York, and I was a part of his group, so you could watch him and this is how this guy's been playing this many years, still approaches getting ready for the season.
Yeah.
Because how much money you make, But I was gonna say one thing about the technique that Nick Mangold. You watch him on film and it's he's not moving quite as fast like the other guys, but he didn't get beat because his hands were freaking perfect every play. Mm-hmm. That guy's hand placement was second to none. I've never, just absolutely freakish.
Did you wear the big ass gloves and the? I wore gloves and I taped my wrist.
Yeah, I would tape my knuckles. I'd tape my wrists and then wear the thinner gloves over top,
so you didn't tear anything.
Yeah, and then I wore
nowadays you see those offensive line. It's they're wearing mitts though.
Yeah, they wear those big mitts. I guess they hurt their wrist at some point. I know you'll see these guys wear those black cuffs on their arms. Linemen. That's usually from a shoulder injury. And I always tell my kid, if you're blocking somebody, You got to keep your elbows in because
Elbows in.
you may be bigger than somebody, so you can dominate them like this. But once you're going against guys your size or bigger, if your elbows aren't in, and you're not here, you're going to hurt your shoulder.
Yeah.
You see it, especially like in camp as a freshman in college, like so many guys hurt their shoulders, offensive linemen, because they come out and try to block like this.
Yeah.
I think it'll work against someone who's 320 pounds coming at you like it can't.
Well, a couple more. So you go. You know, you got to say goodbye to football.
Yeah.
When did you decide that, hey, this isn't for me? I got to hang it up.
So I was doing arena ball out in Chicago and living in it was not a nice area to live in. Like when I was in Dallas, we were living in Los Colinas, which was nice, or in that area, Irving.
Fort Worth is beautiful.
Yeah, I like that. It was a nice area. And then, oh my gosh, where were we at in New Jersey? Where are the facilities? I can't think of the name of the town. Nice. Really nice. When I was in Chicago doing arena ball, it wasn't a great area. Like, Chicago's a nice city. Love it. Great city. But like, there's areas, any city, like, where it's not great, you know? It's really in this area. It's like, we're traveling these games, playing, and it's okay, but at some point I was like, you know what, like, I don't see this leading to the NFL or to the next level. Like, I don't see me getting a call, hey, you look great, come try out. I was like, I think I'm done with this. Like, I'm just tired of living in different cities, moving around. I want to just, I'm done. So I told him there, I was like, hey, look, I'm going to hang it up. Like, it was like 4 games left or something like that, and I was battling like a small injury. And I was like, I think I'm done. So I'm going to head, there goes the kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to head home, I wish you guys best of luck, and just hung it up.
Yeah.
So, and it was that, and other things played into that too. Like when I was in Dallas, I broke my leg, and it took me like a year and a half to fully recover and finally going to try with the Jets. And then I got to the Jets, and then camp, like, I wasn't telling them this, but I had a broken foot. And so it kind of makes a big difference. I remember, someone stepped on my foot, and it just like, I felt it, and I was like, oh, shit, So I tore my quad when I was training for, do all my testing. I broke my leg in Dallas. I had a broken foot in New York. Like I said, I didn't tell anybody there at the time because it's like, well, if you have broken, they're just going to cut me, So I didn't tell anybody. Didn't tell anybody. And then I had a small, I was battling, I forget what the injury was, maybe a groin or something when I was in Chicago, and I was like, I'm tired of battling injuries. I didn't have really any injuries when I was in college, period. Like, no real injuries. And then, like, all these things kept happening. I was like, maybe it's not meant to be. I'm tired. Like I said, I'm tired of living in all these different cities and moving around and stuff. And I was like, so I think I'm just going to hang it up. So drove home, and yeah, that was it. Figured it was time to call it a day.
Yeah. And you came back to Bedford?
I came back to Bedford. Was living with my parents for a while. Lived in Pittsburgh a little bit. Moved back to Bedford again. Found a steady job in the oil and gas industry. That's what I do now. Just work my way up from being, an abstractor for an oil and gas company. Now I'm a director of our office. So seemed to work out pretty well. Especially, I was going to move back out to Pittsburgh, then COVID hit, and now we go fully remote. So it was like kind of convenient for me. I was like, yeah, great. Like I can stay where I'm at and raise my family here, be close to my parents, close to her parents, so the kids can see their grandparents and stuff. So it's been nice. But yeah.
No, it's been but y'all, nobody can ever take away what you did. I mean, you have a diploma, a degree from the University of Notre Dame. I mean, that, and then for what you did there, I mean, you played for history. I mean, Marcus Freeman talks about Notre Dame, Lou Holtz. I mean, there's just a certain, I guess, I'm a fan, but you can actually say you played there. There's a certain aura, you'll have for the rest of your life. I mean, people look up to you. I do. I mean, what you did, I mean, so many people, I was a smaller kid, but, you come from a small town, but seeing you do it, you've inspired a lot of people to go after their dreams, man. And
because if you work hard and you have the ability, you can, whether it's Notre Dame or not, I say it's like, even if it's a 1AA score, if you can get money to get yourself into school, dude, that's a win.
That's a win.
That it is. It means to an end. Like, not many guys are playing on Sunday. And
and at the end of the day, you can't play the game forever.
No. You're playing a kid. If you can get your school paid for, get some money for school, and get to a school better than you could have gone into if you didn't play. Like, you're playing a kid's game. It's fun. It's a job once you're in college. And some guys have, it's tough for them to adjust. Like, man, I'm doing this every day, all day. Yeah, you are. But you're getting something out. Use it to get something out of life. Like, use it to put yourself in a position that's better for you. Like, Would I have gone? I mean, I had good grades, I had good scores in that. Would I have gone to Notre Dame? Probably not. That's a top university. I mean, I didn't have, with football, it wasn't a question I was in. I had good enough grades and test scores. But, it got me to a university that, I'm proud that that's where I graduated from. I love it. I love the people. I love the place. I love what it stands for. And, like I said, I wouldn't have had that shot without football. They're taking valedictorians and stuff
So I tell you what, I will tell you what's pretty cool. So there's a girl that actually graduated from Tussey Mountain.
Yeah.
That goes to Notre Dame. She's in the marching band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
awesome.
valedictorian.
Yeah, you have to be you get to be top of your class.
I don't even know if she got to be in.
And I want to say that too. They have quotas for certain areas of the country too. They take they take people from all over the world and all over the country. But I want to say because I know that it helps to have someone who's a prominent alumni also give you some letter of recommendation. Yeah.
Did you play real quick before you? Did you play? Was Teo on any of your teams?
So he was being recruited.
Okay.
When I was a senior.
Okay.
And I didn't host. I wasn't
Because
involved.
Charlie was left right after you graduated, right?
It was a year. I think a year. There was one more year after.
But Weiss recruited him, though, correct?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
That was his big kid. He was massive recruit.
Yeah.
Great guy, great kid. Well, at that time, he's an adult, but at that time, I see the high school recruits as kids. He's a great. He's a great kid. He's been great for the university. I know there's a whole thing with the girlfriend side. Shit happens. I've seen worse stuff happen. Yeah. He's a great person. He really is. And I watch now. Harrison Smith's probably gonna retire, maybe I think. But Harrison Smith, Steve Quinn, and I hosted him on his official visit to Notre Dame. You wouldn't think at that time, this kid's being one of the best safeties that played in the last decade and a half. Great player, but I played with Golden Tate, Jeff Samar.
Yeah, you played with Golden Tate, yeah.
Brady Quinn was there for 2 years and I was there.
What's he like? What was, we'll do that, wrap this up with some...
Professional.
Jimmy Clausen. Not party boy?
Not that I'm aware. I mean, he had a good time and that, but Brady Quinn, handled everything, professionally. And
because he knew. You think
think
he knew he was going to be playing in the pros? You think?
I just think it's just who he is. So if there was a person, I would say their GM left. If they get him to come, he gets it. He understands it.
Fox loves him.
I know
$2.
He's a great guy. He is the guy that I'd say I want. Just with Freeman, the way he handles stuff, that's who Notre Dame needs to represent them. And if they would offer him that GM job, he'd take. I think he'd be great at it.
Because there's GMs in college now, right?
Yeah, there's GMs in college. It's crazy. They handle the money. They go with I guess they handle the NIL money, all that stuff, and who they're going to recruit. They handle it's crazy. Because you have GMs now in college because these guys are getting the amount of money being thrown around. Whether the numbers real or not is insane.
Oh.
When I played, I was friends with. His dad went to Notre Dame. He went to Notre Dame. He was a regular student. No, just a guy I was friends with. Yeah. And his dad let's go out and get something to eat. But he can't pay for us. Or if we went over to his house, they couldn't cook us food because that's a violation. It's
really?
How far we've come. Now you can offer a guy $3-4 million and get him off another team's roster. Then you couldn't even you can go to your buddy's house and eat food their parents made or something like that. It's insane. Yeah. It's totally different. But great experience.
Yeah. Real quick, one last. Have you ever met Marcus Freeman?
I have not met Marcus Freeman, but my brother-in-law, I guess, was taking his son on a visit for wrestling, and Marcus Freeman's wife and his son, he wrestles. They were there and they met, and my brother-in-law was talking to her. I'd like to meet him. I shook his hand on campus, didn't have a conversation with him though, but they're.
You like the guy, or you like?
I think he's going to be a great coach because I think he's driven by he understands, he gets it, he gets what Notre Dame is about. But I think he's driven by self-improvement. I don't want to say self-improvement, but self-improvement. He's going to learn from all of his mistakes, and he's not going to make them again. Yeah, he's a first-time head coach. He's young. Maybe he was in over his head when he started. But he's been able to adjust. He was smart. He brought the right people in. With someone like Al Golden, who has head coaching experience, absolutely. Who knows the pitfalls of being the head coach, especially the big programs at Miami. Yeah. But I think he's going to be great. I think he relates well to the players. But I think more than anything, whatever you see from him, he's genuine. Yeah. I don't see I don't think he blows smoke up anybody's ass. And I think that's a great thing because I think a lot of these coaches be full of shit. So I think he's the right hire. I think he played Ohio State, but I think the way that he handles himself, the way that he sees the program and who he is now, he's a Notre Dame guy. I think that he could take that program to new heights. I really would.
I saw a guy at Sheets yesterday. I was heading back from Planet Fitness, and he had a Notre Dame hat on, and I had a sweatshirt, and it's the people in Alabama say "Roll Tide," we say "Go Irish," and the guy said, "We're back," and I said, "Yeah." So he said, "We might have lost this year," he said, "but Notre Dame football is back."
They lost to a team. They're not great. They're not great. Their rosters. They're down like 10 or 11 starters.
Yeah.
Next guy. They're running the ball. Notre Dame's interior defensive line, they're not able to stop their. Dude, they're missing an All-American defensive tackle. That makes a big difference. They're missing an All-American cornerback. That makes a big difference. You're not missing your second string. You're missing All-Americans off your team. That's a huge. And Jeremiah Love, his knee was I believe he was still battling injury. I know he says 95%, but taking a knee brace off and things like that. I'm sure he wasn't. He has I think it was an MCL injury. You're not going to heal up.
You kept the lead from 31-7. And listen, it's a one-possession game.
Yeah.
And we're on the third down to get the ball back to go score. And listen, they got the ball. Everybody's like, look, if you're Ohio State, I'm going to put the ball in the best player's hand. And the kid made a play. He made a play.
Yeah, I mean, the way you ran that route, what do you do? The guy's the best wide receiver in college football. As a freshman or not, he's unbelievable. One, he's a freshman, but if you look at his body, that guy looks like he's
that was more of a game than when Brian Kelly played Alabama.
Okay, so I get it. Georgia's quarterback's hurt. I understand that.
That
kid's a big recruit, though, too.
Yeah.
He can play. Okay, brought him back against Texas.
He was the spark that beat Texas.
But I'll tell you what, they beat the shit out of
Georgia. How long has it been since we have done that?
You say, we went down and beat the shit out of the SEC champion. Penn State's a damn good program. And I'm not a Penn State.
And I talked a lot. I can't stand Penn State.
Yes.
You guys know that, though. I talked a lot of shit. I heard all week long about they were going to run the ball down. They were going to dog block us.
Well, here's the thing. So they were blitzing up the middle. They were filling the gaps with their linebackers, and they were hitting the edges.
Yeah.
They went in at halftime. They adjusted the defense. I hear so, why aren't we still running the ball? Because you guys haven't been able to in the second half because they made an adjustment on defense, and they're not giving you these lanes anymore. And so, they beat them. They beat them. And there was no. They beat them in terrible calls too.
Franklin.
That pass
interference. He thinks outside of himself.
But that's another thing too. So they intercepted that ball and got a shitty call.
Yeah.
Because Notre was on the sides
did you see him just
laughing? You pointing at laughing that's bullshit. Absolutely horrendous call. You're rewarding somebody for throwing the ball 20 yards underthrown. So a lot of teams that happens you get huge up and then you let down. Boom. Yeah. They end up scoring
people don't understand what
but they just kept plugging away. Yeah. That's a game. That interception here is a game-changing play because you had momentum, and now the momentum's going to ramp it up even more. But I'll tell you, and that team, you have a team like Abdul Carter's a hell of a ball player. Won't take any. That guy's freaking good. Okay, and he's playing hurt.
Carter, he hurt us up front.
Playing
with
hurt.
One arm.
With playing hurt, yes. That's the other thing. When Love had that touchdown run, that was impressive.
Yes.
By the way. Really impressive. The amount of balance, athleticism to do that. At one point, he's leaning backwards, turned around. And I don't know how he came back and ended up scoring that. But when you see Carter go to hit him, he goes to hit him with it. I think what was it? Was it his right shoulder was hurt? He went to hit him with whatever. Maybe it was left. He went to hit him with the opposite shoulder and kind of slid off. I was if he was healthy, he was hitting the pedal on.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking away from Love and taking nothing away from Abdul. He's a hell of a player. But you have they beat Indiana. I was at that game, which was freaking awesome.
I'm so fucking happy. And ran his mouth.
Yes.
Couldn't happen to
I wasn't rooting against Indiana because Pat Coons, my buddy, he's at my wedding. I lived with him out at Notre Dame, played with him for 4 years. He's a great friend, a D-line coach.
What do you think of Notre Dame's offensive line?
I didn't ask him after the game. I didn't want
to
what do you think? Yeah. But their D-line, that CJ, what's his name? The kid that's in the... I watched him at the Senior Bowl, practice the other day. He was dominating, absolutely dominating. He's a transfer. I think he started a small school and he transferred up, and then he's a hell of a player. That kid's gonna be good. I can't think of his name off the top of my head though. But I wanted to see him have success because I think he's not just because I'm friendly, he's a great coach, And I know he cares about, he loves football, loves the players. So I wanted to see him be successful, but I also wanted Notre Dame to beat the shit out of him too. So I was happy with the result. But that was a hell of an experience. Like, I got the tickets and I told my kid, I was like, we're going to, because my son, Ezra, my oldest, he's nine. Man, he's a diehard Irish fan.
Yeah.
Like, he might get more intense during the games than I do. At times, I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, it's
My
okay.
brother, my brother,
it's early in the game.
diehard Notre Dame fan. He will call if they make one bad play and say, "Fire Freeman."
Yeah, I know.
Like, hey, just calm down. And I'm there on the other line, like, yeah, just relax.
Well, that's like my dad is too. When they lost to Marshall, like, my dad's like, he needs to get rid of him. He just can't get it done. I'm like, give the guy a chance. Like, what is it hurting? Brian Kelly wasn't able to get it done for 15 years, something like that, whatever it was. And, like, give this guy a chance. They look, and this is funny, at NIU, okay? I go down, my parents have a store in town here, and I walk in, and they're like, oh, their name sucks. Like, how could you lose NIU? I'm like, they are not going to lose another game the rest of the season. And then before the national championship, I was like, wouldn't that be a great call if I was like, they're not losing another game? I was like, they're not losing again the rest of the season. And they're like, how can you say it's going to be by NIU? I was like, because I know the talent they have. I'm watching them play. I see how fast they are. Like, their defense is swarming. I was like, they are not giving a lot of points. It's about getting Aden Leonard, getting him in a groove.
Yeah.
Getting the ball to Jeremiah Love, getting the ball to Jeremy Price, you know. And now Aeneas Williams is a freshman, he stepped up. That's impressive to see. Like,
Rockstar. Back then we was running from the cop cars in the hood where the work is getting dropped off.